And here we are again with more news about XRP. Thank you to all of you for always being so helpful. There are a lot of new people coming in, including you. And of course, to those who have been here from the start, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I need your support. If you don't want to miss any of these changes, click the bell icon below. That way you'll know every time I post. Not to worry though, analysts think that XRP might be ahead of other cryptocurrencies when it comes to getting an ETF approved by the SEC. That stuff is what we're going to talk about. If you think this is interesting, like I said, click that red subscribe button. But if you look at the market as a whole, the last 24 hours have been gloomy. We did see a little bit of a pullback, and I know a lot of people are wondering why. It's not what we want to see. The market needs to be pumped up, that's all. However, we need to understand, which is why we look at Bitcoin every day. This is why your boy Coins Alert keeps you up to date every day on what's going on with BTC. However, let us look at what is going with XRP at the moment. Over the past day, XRP has lost about 3.9%. We've gained 14.4% in the past week. And I don't want you to forget that. Furthermore, if you look at the bigger picture is up right now. But let us check out what's going on with XRP. Let's look at the chart. The price of XRP is now $2.07, which is 3.7% less than it was yesterday in USD, and 1.1% less than it was yesterday in Bitcoin. Comparatively, it is still worth more than $120 billion, or $120.8 billion to be exact. And about $2.6 billion worth of trades happen every 24 hours. But before we go any further, as always, let's clear something up. Anything on this station is not meant to help you with your money. While investing in crypto, you should always be careful and do your own study. According to an SEC filing that Kiko Research is keeping an eye on, XRP has the most busy altcoin ETF applications with almost 10. This is followed by Solana, Litecoin, and Doge. What do you think the first crypto ETFs that get approved will be? Again, take a look at how many ETFs have been filed for XRP. We will return to this chart though. Of course, we did have something new added to the papers. You can see that Pro shares have just been put in for an XRP ETF. Let's take a look at this now. Why do you think people want an XRP ETF so badly? Let's look at it from the point of view of these institutions or firms. Why do you think they're asking for it? Because they want a piece of the pie. As I said before, this is what I thought about every ETF that was filed. It's finally time for me to say this. They knew how much demand there would be for this before we even got one ETF. Of course, if they have an ETF, they can make money or get a piece of the action because, a lot of people and analysts think that XRP will soon overtake the top two cryptocurrencies, taking over the value of Ethereum. But the amount of interest we're seeing now and the way these files are going should really show you where the interest lies. The price of the native token is also moving in a way that shows how good this project is and how much call there is for it. Yes, we haven't reached the highest point ever. That's true. No one needs to know. At the moment though, you need to know where Bitcoin stands in terms of market share and what effect it might have on the bigger picture. Also, what effects outside factors might have on the crypto space, which is something that many people don't think about but is really very interesting. Right now, it's clear that we're missing big names like BlackRock. It's clear that the filing news itself will be very bullish, as I said at the start. And I think BlackRock knows this. Okay, let's put ourselves in BlackRock's shoes. Do you think BlackRock isn't seeing the Bitcoin ETF or the Ethereum ETF, or do you think there aren't people who have them who are interested in them? Do you really believe they don't want more ETFs? And when people talk about other ETFs, XRP is the one that comes up most often, even in interviews. We have seen people ask Larry Fink, when are you going to look at XRP? He also said in a statement that he had no thoughts on the future of different ETFs. Of course they know this, and there are also a lot of stories going around that they are already buying XRP. We're not sure. It's possible that all of these big moves are caused by BlackRock or other larger companies buying. We could guess, but again, this shows how much people want an XRP ETF. But look at what Smoke says. XRP is once again standing out on the charts, bringing in the most money while other big cryptic assets are under a lot of selling pressure. This past weekend, XRP stood out. As I already said, this pretty much sums up what we've talked about. We're seeing more people want XRP, and it's standing up much better than the market as a whole. This is the best way to look at it. A lot of coins are down 6 to 7%. Now you can see that XRP is only down 3.8%. That's pretty much the same thing Bitcoin did. Pay attention to what Jake says. Some people still don't realize how big of an effect Ripple's purchase of Hidden Road was. Every year the company clears more than $3 trillion in forex, crypto futures and fixed income. That's more than $50 million in deals every day, or $10 billion every day. Please forgive me. That's 50 million trades every day, worth $10 billion, with a direct link to the XRP ledger. Now we'll look at the XRP record. That only tells you one thing. Why do you think they're about to hit and run? They want to come up with new ideas. With their growth, Ripple is not here to mess around. Even though this case caused a lot of uncertainty for them, they stuck to their plan for the most part. As you know, there's no interest from larger retailers. They stood their ground again, and they keep coming up with new ideas. Now I think they're going to really use that against us. For some reason I already think they can see that happening. Let's check out what's going on with the price tag. In terms of control, guys can see that it's getting stronger at 63.89%, which shows a lot of strength. You don't want to see the strength right now, especially since Bitcoin saw a retracement. As you can see, Bitcoin did see a retracement from $86,400 down to $83,100, but there has been a little bounce since then that is still in the 38.2 fib zone. Also, make sure you know when the tax deadline is in your state. Finally, we need to think about the stock market. Coins tend to lose some value, which is called a sell-off, for people who have to file taxes and then pay them with their crypto gains. That's something else we need to think about. But first, let's look at what's going on with the price of XRP, since that's what everyone wants to know, so that you can see for yourself. Of course, the price of XRP did change. It went from $2.18 to say $2.06. Right now we are below the 38.5 level of the Fibonacci trend. It's not something we haven't seen before. A lot of people are behind you in this group, but you should wait until everyone else starts before you start. When you say bad things about XRP, we need to remember that this is happening for the market as a whole. But as of April 7th, you are still up 26.65% on XRP, and it's still holding really well. This will show you what I mean. Let me show you the weekly schedule. As of late, we have been trading above this important support line since we broke out in November. We did see a few lights down below. Of course, there have been times when the market has been very strong, which has affected more people. It tells you everything you need to know about how it got better. I like what I see here. We are of course below that important support line right now, but I do think the price will go back up. But if Bitcoin falls below 38.2, we might see a small drop, but things look really good in the big picture. I think that people forget about this. Tell me what you think in the comments.